have a lot of people DM me and email me and ask me this question all the time. And they ask me, how much money can you actually make as a children's book author? Especially if you're self-published and you're not getting any book advances from a traditional publishing house and you're paying for everything up front, like how much can you actually make? Well, in today's video, I'm going to go over in detail, like basically how much you can make and how much I make as a self-published children's book author, not relying on Amazon ads, not relying on any Meta ads, not relying on any ads, period, actually, and realistic numbers and realistic pathways on how much you can actually earn as a self-published children's book author. And make sure to stay to the very end because I give some really good tips and tricks on how you can increase how much you earn as a children's book author too. And if we've never met before, hi, my name is Harley and I'm an award-winning self-published children's book author and illustrator. After only publishing 3 books, I ended up making this my full-time job. So I'm officially a full-time children's book author, illustrator, and creative entrepreneur. And if that's something that you'd like to do as well, make sure to hit subscribe down below so you don't miss a new video. Now, I know a lot of people think like, okay, if I publish a children's book, am I actually going to make my money back? Especially if you're in the middle of researching like everything that you need before you self-publish. Like, there are so many costs that go into self-publishing children's books, and I've talked about it a lot on my other videos. So if you want to watch this video where I actually go over how much I spent publishing my first children's book, click right here to watch that. If you don't want to watch that right away, it's going to be linked in the video description down below as well. And a lot of people also think like, okay, don't quit your day job. Like, you're not going to make any money as a self-published children's book author because nobody buys children's books and the profits are super low and yada, yada, yada. And I can honestly tell you that there is money with self-publishing children's books. But of course, with self-publishing, because you're not relying on a publisher to actually publish the book for you, actually distribute the book for you, and actually like help you market your book for you, you have to do that all by yourself. And yes, it seems daunting and overwhelming, but this is the right YouTube channel to be watching to learn any of that. And if you want to download any of my free resources for self-published children's book authors, they're going to be linked in the description down below as well. So if you look at the average income of a self-published children's book author or like a self-published author in general, the average self-published author only sells about 250 books in their lifetime. And that's pretty abysmal. Like, that's not much. And when you add up like what your profit is per each unit times 250, it is definitely not worth your time or investment. But if you actually take this seriously and you actually treat this like a business, you can make recurring revenue from this. So I have surpassed the average of 250 books by treating this like a business and being all in and really thinking about the long-term growth of my publishing company. And that's also the thing too. If you want to make real money as a children's book author, you need to treat your self-publishing as an actual publishing company, because that's what you are. If you're a self-published children's book author, you're a publisher now. So you have to think like one of those big name publishers. And that is how you're going to get ahead. And that's how you're actually going to create profit for you and actually create recurring revenue for your business. And now, just to put this out there, like, I'm not in the business of children's books just to make money. This is genuinely my passion. And as being a mom of a 6-year-old, and I started writing and illustrating and publishing when my son was 2, it has been like my life's purpose. This is my life's purpose. And I want to create stories and books that actually help kids grow into really awesome adults and teach them lessons and like also make it fun and whimsy and filled with imagination. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm not one of those people that is on YouTube and they're like, you can make $300 a day if you publish 1 children's book. I am not that person. I'm the farthest thing from that person. So I just want to preface that right away before I get any comments down below that's like, why are you writing for kids? You're only in it for the money. I'm actually not. I just think about it really strategically so that way I can keep going with my passion and my life's purpose and not get derailed because I have a lack of income. And that's exactly how you need to think about it too. If this is truly your life's passion, if this is really your life's purpose and like you feel so drawn to do it, you got to think about it like that. You got to think about like you need to create an income for yourself so that way you can keep putting out more quality children's books that actually help kids and stories that kids love to read and really build your legacy as an author. Factor that goes into how much money you can make as a children's book author is where you're going to be publishing and what platforms you're using to publish. So a lot of people just use Amazon KDP for self-publishing their children's books, and I highly recommend that you publish on KDP at first because it is like low cost to actually like print the copies of your books and actually get it out there in the world, because initially, if you've never published before, that is like your main goal, is to just get it out there right away. So starting with Amazon KDP is a really great option. But when you look at the royalties and like how much you actually get paid out from publishing a children's book on Amazon KDP, it is significantly lower than if you were to have the print copies yourself and sell it directly. So just a quick little breakdown. So my books on Amazon, I sell for $10.99, and the print cost to actually print the paperback book, it costs about like $4.50 or $4.60 to actually have Amazon print a copy of my book. So when someone buys it on Amazon for $10.99, we're already subtracting the print cost of the book. So then I'm left over with like $5.50 or $5.40 as a leftover. But then since you're buying off of Amazon, like since Amazon is the one that's distributing the book for you, they're also going to take their cut, which is about 50% of what is left over. And also this really depends on like how much you price your book at too, because if you price your book at a certain point, you get 60% royalty versus 40%. It really just depends. And also Amazon KDP's pricing like changes a lot. So especially like print costs and whatever. So per paperback book, I make about $2.20 to $2.50 per book that I sell on Amazon KDP. So you're probably thinking like, wow, even if I sell 10 books in a day from Amazon KDP, I'm only making $20. Yeah, you heard that right. So how you're going to maximize your profits for actually creating good money as a children's book author is you should have the print copies on hand, and then you sell them directly yourself. And that way you keep a higher margin from each book. So how I do this is actually how I make most of my money, is from direct sales. How I do this and how I started doing this is I actually ordered the paperback copies, like the author copies up of Amazon KDP at like $4.50 each. And I ordered like maybe 50 to 100 of them. I know that sounds like a lot. I ordered like 50 to 100 of them so I could start selling at in-person events. So my price for getting them was about $5 a book if you include shipping costs. So I also sell these for $9.99 at in-person events because it's just less money that gets taken out of the sales transaction. So I only price it at $9.99 versus $10.99 on Amazon. So from that $9.99, I actually keep about $4.40 or $4.50 around there. So just from doing that, I have doubled my royalty rate per book. So when I do an in-person event or when I do like a bookstore pop-up, I've already like doubled the amount of money that I can make from selling my books just automatically doing that. And also I need to sell less books in order to make more. That's also something to think about too. And now you're probably thinking like, okay, well, you haven't actually answered the question of how much can you earn as a children's book author. There's actually a video that I did recently. It's going to be linked right here for you, but also it's going to be in the video description down below, where I actually made $300 in book sales in 3 hours. And that was at one of my local farmers markets, and it really wasn't that busy. Like it was just the right amount of people and the right amount of traffic to sell that amount of books. So that is what you could make as a children's book author if you're in person and you treat this like a business. But how I maximize the amount of money that I make for like events or even like wholesale. Wholesale is a big one for me, because that is like recurring revenue that I don't have to actively market for all the time. Wholesale is really great because you just pitch a store your books, you provide the print copies, or you tell them that your books are on Ingram Spark and they can order them through Ingram Spark or Fair. I use Fair for my board books and Ingram Spark for my paperback. And then you tell them like what your age range is for your books, like what they teach and like how it would be a good fit for their store. And after they say yes, they buy copies of your book from either Ingram Spark or your other wholesale distribution channel. And then they actively sell it to their customers, or their customers buy it within the store. And then if they run out and they found that like your books are selling, they'll reorder it. So that is just another consistent stream of income you can make as a self-published children's book author without Amazon taking that huge royalty cut. So how much money you can make from wholesale is very similar to direct sales, except with wholesale, since they're a reseller, like they're going to resell your books, so you have to mark them down in order for them to make a profit. With my board books, I sell these for $12.99 each. And when I got these manufactured, it cost me about like $2.80 per unit to have it created and shipped to me. So from the $2.90 that I paid per unit, I mark up to $12.99. So that way, when I do wholesale, I'm still making money. So that's also a thing you need to think about your pricing to make sure you actually have a good enough profit margin on each book. So my profit margin on each book is basically like $9 per unit. So for wholesale, for them to make a profit, I mark it down to 50% of its retail price. So it's about $6 and change per wholesale order. So that way, when the retailer has it, they paid $6 and change for this, they can mark it up to $12.99. So they actually make their money back. So now my royalty on this is about $4 and change, but it's still better than what Amazon KDP's royalty is. And that is like a recurring revenue system. I have a lot of different stores that sell out of my books, and at least once or twice a month, and it grows actually month over month because I continue to pitch to more stores to carry my books. And right about now, as of like October 2025, or when I'm filming this, I make about $200 a month from wholesale orders alone. And the really cool thing about wholesale is that you can have as many stores and have your books stocked in as many stores as you'd like. So that amount of money per month just goes up and up and up with more stores that you branch out to. What also helps you make more money as a children's book author is having different merchandise items for people to buy in addition to your books. So I have like basically a whole merch line for my books. So I have my books that I sell in paperback and board book format. I also invested in making custom manufactured plushies based off of my main character, because I found that kids love plushies and I love plushies. And to help kids get more into the book, adding like a plushie companion is always a good idea. It is a little bit of an upfront investment, but if this is something that you're seeing for your long-term brand vision, highly recommend you make some of these. That video is going to be linked right here if you're interested. It's also going to be linked in the description below if you want to watch that after this video. And I also sell like sticker sheets and die cut stickers. So these are some of the sticker sheets that I had made. I also have a video on how to make sticker sheets and get them manufactured for your business. That video is going to be linked right here. It's also going to be in the description down below if you want to check that one out. So adding different types of merchandise to your brand will help just increase the average order value of each purchase. So let's say I only have the books, and then you order like one of the books or you buy one of the books. Yay, I made $2 on Amazon, or I made $4 in person. But then they see that you have companion sticker sheets or a companion plushie. That adds up the total to be over $30 just from one person. So adding in all these different products helps to improve your brand image, but also your average order value, and just make you look more legitimate as a self-published children's book author. I get comments all the time saying like, wow, my setup is amazing. Like my branding is amazing. Like my merchandise line is amazing. And people want to buy just because of that. So it just helps to have that as supplemental income as well as book sales. And there are a bunch of different ways that you can sell your books too, which is really cool. So you need to think about all the different ways that you can sell your books. So you can sell them on Amazon KDP to start. Then you could start doing like in-person sales. You could start doing wholesale. You could do school visits where they order books at schools. There are so many different things that you can do to sell your children's books and actually make a livable income as a self-published children's book author. But I do want to preface this. It does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of work. It does take an upfront investment, but if this is something that you really, really want, you can just start small and you can start selling off of Amazon KDP, get some wholesale orders off of Ingram Spark. That doesn't cost anything printing wise up front. Then if you find that you're getting enough wholesale orders, you're getting enough orders off of Amazon that you can branch out and build your own website and take online orders that way and actually ship out the books and the plushies and the stickers yourself and keep publishing more quality books that people really want and focusing on promos and like marketing as much as possible. You can do this and you can make a decent living by selling children's books. Check out some of my other videos where I actually talk about like money breakdowns and how much money I made and like even incorporating different streams of income as a self-published children's book author to be a full-time author. That video is going to be linked right here. It tells you exactly how I went from being a self-published children's book author to being a full-time children's book author by being really creative. And make sure to subscribe so you can watch more videos on children's book marketing and publishing.